6 months, that's about 180 days, 180 chances to change your life. The truth is, 6 months from now, your life will look completely different. The only question is, will it be different because you worked for it or different because you did nothing? The next 6 months will happen whether you prepare or not. But what you become in those 6 months, that's your choice. 6 months can change everything. Yet most people underestimate what such a short period of time can truly accomplish. When people think about success, they often imagine it as a distant destination that requires many years of effort, struggle, and waiting. They assume that real transformation takes decades, and because of that belief, they delay taking action today. But the truth is that life does not always change slowly. Sometimes it changes in powerful, unexpected moments that are built on a few months of focused effort. 6 months may seem like a small part of a lifetime, but it holds the power to reshape direction, mindset, and opportunity. In just half a year, a person can develop new habits, gain new knowledge, and build a foundation that shifts the entire course of their future. Think about how much time 6 months actually contains. It is not just a number on a calendar. It is around 180 days, over 4,000 hours, and countless opportunities to take action. Every single day within those 6 months carries the potential to move you one step closer to your goals. When people waste a day, they often think it does not matter because tomorrow will come. But when you begin to realize that hundreds of small days are quietly shaping your life, the perspective changes. Each morning becomes an opportunity to improve. Each evening becomes a chance to reflect and grow. When you repeat that process again and again, day after day, something powerful begins to happen. Progress may start small and almost invisible, but over time it gathers strength, like a snowball rolling down a hill, growing larger with every turn. In 6 months, a student who once struggled with focus can become disciplined and confident simply by committing to consistent study and effort. A person who once doubted their abilities can build self-belief through repeated attempts, small wins, and steady progress. Skills that once felt impossible can slowly become natural through daily practice. It does not happen overnight, but it also does not require years to begin seeing results. The human mind and body are capable of incredible adaptation when given consistent effort. 6 months of reading, learning, practicing, and improving can transform someone from a beginner into someone who truly understands their path. The difference between the person you are today and the person you could become often lies in what you decide to do during the next few months. Many people look at successful individuals and assume their achievements appeared suddenly. They see the result, but not the quiet months of preparation that came before it. Behind every breakthrough moment, there are weeks and months of unseen work, late nights, early mornings, and moments of persistence when quitting would have been easier. Those months are often where the real transformation happens. They are the period when discipline is built, when habits replace excuses, and when confidence slowly replaces doubt. 6 months of commitment can create a level of momentum that changes everything that comes afterward. Once that momentum begins, progress becomes easier because the habits and mindsets supporting it are already in place. Another powerful truth about 6 months is that it gives enough time to completely reshape daily routines. Habits are the invisible forces that control much of our lives. The way a person spends their mornings, the way they respond to challenges, and the choices they make throughout the day gradually build the identity they carry into the future. In a few months, unhealthy routines can be replaced with productive ones. A person can learn to wake up earlier, plan their time, and focus their energy on meaningful goals. These changes may appear simple on the surface, but their impact is profound. When habits change, the direction of life begins to change as well, because the actions performed each day begin to align with long-term goals instead of temporary comfort. Perhaps the most important transformation that can occur within 6 months is the shift in mindset. When someone decides to take control of their time and effort, they begin to see themselves differently. Confidence grows not from empty motivation, but from evidence of progress. Each completed task, each challenge overcome, and each lesson learned becomes proof that improvement is possible. Slowly, the fear of failure begins to lose its power, and the belief in one's ability to grow becomes stronger. Over 6 months, this mental shift can be dramatic. A person who once hesitated to try new things can become someone who actively seeks challenges and opportunities. The change is not only visible in achievements, but also in the way they carry themselves, speak, and approach the future. Your daily habits are quietly writing the story of your future, whether you realize it or not. Most people imagine that life-changing moments come from big decisions or dramatic opportunities, but the truth is much simpler and much more powerful. The direction of your life is built through small actions repeated day after day. The way you begin your morning, how you spend your time, the choices you make when no one is watching. These things may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they shape who you become. Every habit is like a small vote for the person you are becoming. When those votes accumulate over weeks and months, they begin to form a powerful pattern that defines your path. Every morning you wake up, you face a quiet decision. It might not feel dramatic, but it is important. You can choose the comfortable routine that keeps you exactly where you are, or you can choose actions that slowly move you forward. The difference between these two choices may appear small on a single day. Spending an hour learning something new instead of wasting that hour scrolling through distractions may not feel like a major achievement at that moment. But when that hour of learning is repeated every day, it becomes hundreds of hours of growth. Over 6 months, that time can build knowledge, skill, and confidence that once seemed impossible to achieve. Habits also shape the way you think about yourself. When you repeatedly follow through on commitments, no matter how small, you begin to trust your own discipline. For example, when someone commits to studying for a certain amount of time every day and actually keeps that promise to themselves, something powerful happens internally. They start to see themselves as a focused and reliable person. That belief becomes stronger with every repeated action. On the other hand, when someone constantly delays important tasks or breaks promises to themselves, doubt slowly grows. Over time, habits either strengthen self-belief or weaken it, and that internal belief becomes a powerful force that influences future decisions. Another important truth about daily habits is that they compound in ways most people do not immediately notice. Just like interest grows in a bank account, when money is consistently added, effort grows when small improvements are made repeatedly. Reading 10 pages of a book may not seem like much today, but doing it every day for 6 months means reading thousands of pages and gaining knowledge that others never take the time to learn. Practicing a skill for a short period each day can slowly turn a beginner into someone highly capable. The process may feel slow at first, but with time it begins to accelerate because each new effort builds upon the progress made before it. However, habits can work in the opposite direction as well. Negative routines can quietly pull someone away from their potential without them realizing it. Wasting time avoiding challenges or constantly choosing comfort over growth may seem harmless on a single day. But when those choices are repeated again and again, they create a pattern that becomes difficult to escape. Months pass quickly, and a person may suddenly realize that very little has changed in their life. This is why awareness of daily actions is so important. Recognizing how small behaviors shape long-term outcomes allows a person to take control of their direction before time passes unnoticed. The most encouraging part of this reality is that habits are not fixed. They can be changed, replaced, and improved with conscious effort. A person who decides to adjust their daily routine, waking up earlier, dedicating time to learning, reducing distractions, and focusing on meaningful goals, can begin to see the results sooner than expected. Each positive habit becomes a building block for a stronger future. As these habits become natural parts of everyday life, they create a powerful system that supports progress automatically. Over 6 months, these repeated actions can transform not only productivity, but also confidence, mindset, and the way a person approaches every opportunity they encounter. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people believe success depends on feeling inspired, energized, or motivated every single day. They wait for the moment when they feel ready to work, ready to study, or ready to take action. But motivation is unpredictable. Some days it appears naturally, filling you with excitement and energy. On other days, it disappears completely, leaving behind doubt, tiredness, and hesitation. If someone relies only on motivation, their progress will always be inconsistent because motivation follows emotions, and emotions constantly change. This is where discipline becomes powerful. Discipline is the ability to act even when motivation is absent. It is the quiet decision to continue moving forward regardless of how you feel in the moment. There will always be days when effort feels difficult. There will be mornings when the comfort of sleep feels stronger than the responsibility of waking up early. There will be moments when distractions seem more appealing than the work that needs to be done. In those moments, motivation usually disappears. It does not stand beside you and push you forward. Instead, the choice becomes entirely yours. Discipline steps in during these times and reminds you of the commitment you made to your goals. It tells you that progress is not determined by your mood, but by your actions. When you continue to act despite discomfort, you build a mental strength that slowly becomes part of your character. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is that it creates consistency. Success rarely comes from a single burst of effort. Instead, it grows from repeated actions performed over a long period of time. Discipline ensures that those actions continue even when excitement fades. A student who studies only when they feel inspired will experience short periods of intense effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. But a disciplined student studies regularly, regardless of mood or energy level. Over weeks and months, this steady effort creates a massive difference in results. The consistent learner gains a deeper understanding, stronger skills, and greater confidence simply because they refuse to stop when things felt difficult. Discipline also changes the way a person views challenges. When someone relies only on motivation, challenges often feel like obstacles that drain energy and confidence. However, a disciplined individual begins to see challenges differently. They understand that discomfort is part of growth, and they expect difficult moments to appear along the way. Instead of avoiding these moments, they learn to move through them. Each time they push past resistance, they prove to themselves that they are capable of more than they once believed. This repeated experience builds resilience, and resilience becomes one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop. Another important truth about discipline is that it grows stronger the more it is practiced. At the beginning, forcing yourself to work when you do not feel like it can feel uncomfortable and difficult. The mind naturally looks for easier options. But every time you follow through on your commitment, you train your mind to accept effort as normal. Slowly, what once felt like a struggle becomes part of your routine. Discipline stops feeling like punishment and begins to feel like control. You start to realize that you are not controlled by temporary emotions or distractions. Instead, you have the ability to guide your actions according to your long-term goals. Over time, discipline becomes the quiet force that separates those who reach their goals from those who constantly delay them. Talent may open the door to opportunity, and motivation may provide a temporary push forward. But discipline is what keeps someone moving when everything else fades away. It is the steady engine that continues to operate when excitement disappears and progress feels slow. Within 6 months, a disciplined person can achieve results that once seemed far beyond their reach. Not because they were always motivated, but because they made a decision to continue working, learning, and improving no matter how they felt on any given day. Many people spend a large portion of their lives waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They believe that before they start working toward their goals, everything must feel right. They think they need more confidence, more knowledge, more support, or the perfect opportunity to appear in front of them. This idea feels comforting because it allows them to delay action without feeling completely irresponsible. However, the truth is that the perfect moment rarely arrives. Life is always filled with uncertainty, distractions, and challenges. If someone waits for conditions to become ideal, they may spend months or even years standing still while time continues to move forward. The reality is that progress almost always begins in imperfect circumstances. People who eventually achieve meaningful success often start when they feel unsure, unprepared, and even afraid. They do not wait until they have complete confidence in themselves. Instead, they accept that uncertainty is part of the process. The first step is rarely perfect, and the early stages of any journey are often uncomfortable. Yet these imperfect beginnings are extremely valuable because they create momentum. Once a person begins taking action, even in a small way, they start learning from experience. Each attempt reveals new lessons, and those lessons gradually replace confusion with clarity. Waiting too long can quietly weaken a person's belief in their own ability to act. The longer someone delays starting something important, the more intimidating it begins to feel. A goal that once seemed exciting may slowly transform into something that feels overwhelming. The mind begins to create doubts and questions. What if I fail? What if I am not ready? What if I am not good enough? These thoughts grow stronger when no action is taken to challenge them. However, when someone finally decides to begin, even with small steps, those fears begin to lose their power. Action replaces imagination, and real experience starts to build confidence. Another reason people wait for the perfect moment is because they want certainty. They want to know that their efforts will succeed before they invest time and energy. But certainty is rarely available at the beginning of any meaningful journey. Learning a new skill, building a career, or pursuing an ambitious dream always involves risk and experimentation. Mistakes and setbacks are part of the process, not signs of failure. When people accept this reality, they stop searching for guarantees and start focusing on progress. They understand that improvement happens through action, not through endless preparation or hesitation. Starting before you feel ready also develops courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. Each time someone chooses to act while feeling uncertain, they strengthen their ability to face future challenges. What once seemed intimidating gradually becomes manageable. Over time, they begin to trust their ability to adapt, learn, and grow. This confidence does not come from waiting until everything is perfect. It comes from experiencing difficult moments and realizing that they can continue moving forward anyway. In 6 months, the difference between someone who started today and someone who kept waiting can be enormous. The person who took action, even with small steps, will have gained experience, knowledge, and progress that cannot be replaced. Meanwhile, the person who waited for the ideal opportunity may still be standing in the same place, wondering when the right time will finally arrive. Time moves forward whether action is taken or not. The people who grow the most are those who stop waiting for perfect conditions and begin shaping their future with the imperfect moments available to them right now. Achieving meaningful progress within the next 6 months will require sacrifice. Growth rarely happens while a person remains completely comfortable. Many people dream about success, improvement, or a better future, but they are often unwilling to give up the habits and comforts that keep them where they are. The reality is that time and energy are limited resources. When someone decides to pursue a serious goal, they must choose how those resources will be used. This often means letting go of certain distractions, reducing time spent on activities that do not contribute to progress, and focusing attention on what truly matters. Sacrifice is not about losing something valuable. It is about choosing something more important for the long term. One of the most common sacrifices involves time. Many successful individuals did not suddenly discover extra hours in their day. Instead, they made deliberate choices about how to spend the time they already had. While others were relaxing without purpose or allowing distractions to fill their schedule, they were using that time to learn, practice, or work toward their goals. These choices may seem small at first, but they accumulate quickly. An hour of focused effort each day becomes dozens of hours within a month and hundreds of hours within 6 months. Those hours represent opportunities to gain knowledge, develop skills, and build experience that can create significant advantages in the future. Sacrifice can also involve stepping away from habits that feel comfortable but offer little long-term benefit. Entertainment, social media, and endless distractions can easily consume large portions of a person's day without them realizing it. While relaxation is important, excessive comfort can quietly slow progress. People who want to move forward often learn to set boundaries with these distractions. They become more intentional with their time, ensuring that moments of rest do not replace moments of effort. This balance allows them to maintain energy while still making steady progress toward their ambitions. Another form of sacrifice involves facing temporary difficulty or discomfort. Learning something new, improving a skill, or working toward a demanding goal often requires patience and persistence. There may be moments when the process feels frustrating or exhausting. In these situations, the temptation to quit can become strong. However, those who are willing to push through these uncomfortable periods often discover that growth lies just beyond them. The effort invested during these difficult moments becomes the foundation for future confidence and capability. Each challenge overcome becomes proof that progress is possible with persistence. Sacrifice can sometimes affect social choices as well. There may be times when focusing on a goal means declining certain invitations or spending less time in environments that do not support personal growth. This does not mean isolating oneself completely, but it does require careful decisions about priorities. People who are serious about improvement often surround themselves with individuals who encourage discipline, learning, and ambition. By doing so, they create an environment that supports their efforts instead of distracting them from their path. Over 6 months, these sacrifices begin to produce visible results. The hours spent learning start to build expertise. The discipline developed through consistent effort becomes a powerful habit. The distractions that once consumed time lose their influence as focus becomes stronger, while others may continue following the same routines without much change. The person who embraced sacrifice begins to experience meaningful progress. Their growth is not the result of luck or sudden opportunity, but the result of choices made repeatedly over time. By giving up certain comforts today, they create the possibility of a far greater future tomorrow. One of the most powerful exercises a person can do is to imagine who they could become within the next 6 months. Most people move through life without truly pausing to picture their potential. They focus on their current situation, their current limitations, and the challenges surrounding them. Because of this, they often underestimate how much they can grow in a relatively short period of time. But when someone takes a moment to seriously imagine their improved future, something begins to change inside their mindset. The image of a stronger, more capable version of themselves becomes a source of direction and motivation. Imagine waking up 6 months from now and realizing that you are no longer the same person you once were. Your habits have changed. Your daily routine is more structured and purposeful. Instead of wasting time on distractions, you now invest your energy in activities that develop your mind and abilities. You have spent months reading, learning, practicing, and improving little by little. At first, the progress may have seemed slow, but over time it began to accumulate. Each small step added another layer of growth, and suddenly you realize that you are more knowledgeable, more disciplined, and more confident than you were before. Growth within 6 months is not only about external achievements, it is also about internal transformation. As a person continues to challenge themselves and follow through on their commitments, their mindset gradually evolves. Doubt begins to lose its influence, and belief in one's own ability becomes stronger. Challenges that once felt intimidating start to appear manageable. Instead of avoiding difficult tasks, you approach them with the understanding that they are opportunities to improve. This change in perspective is powerful because it shapes how you respond to every situation you encounter in the future. Another important aspect of imagining your future self is recognizing the difference that consistency can make. If you dedicate time every day to learning and improvement, the results will eventually become visible in many areas of your life. Your communication skills may improve as you gain knowledge and confidence. Your focus may become sharper because you have trained yourself to work with discipline. The people around you may begin to notice the change in your attitude and determination. What once felt like a distant dream slowly begins to feel like a realistic and achievable direction. This imagined version of yourself is not created through sudden inspiration or one extraordinary moment. It is built through hundreds of ordinary decisions made over time. Each day you choose to study instead of procrastinate, practice instead of quit, and move forward instead of standing still. You bring that future version of yourself closer to reality. The transformation is gradual, but it is powerful because it is supported by consistent action. The person you become after 6 months will reflect the choices you make during each of those days. When you picture the person you could become, you begin to understand that your potential is not fixed. It is flexible and constantly evolving. The limitations you feel today are often temporary, shaped by your current habits and experiences rather than your true ability. Within 6 months of focused effort, your knowledge can expand, your confidence can grow, and your discipline can strengthen. The difference between who you are today and who you could become is determined by how seriously you commit to growth during the time ahead. Now take a moment and think about where you stand today. The next 6 months are already approaching. Whether you are ready for them or not, time will continue to move forward with the same steady pace it always has. The days will pass, the weeks will turn into months, and before you realize it, half a year will be behind you. What will truly matter at that moment is not how quickly the time passed, but what you chose to do while it was passing. Every decision, every habit, and every effort during these months will quietly shape the direction of your life. The opportunity in front of you right now is simple but powerful. You have the chance to take control of your daily actions and use them to build a better version of yourself. You can choose discipline over delay, progress over comfort, and determination over doubt. The changes may begin small, but they will grow stronger with every day you stay committed. Step by step, effort by effort, the person you are becoming will begin to reflect the choices you make starting today. 6 months from now, you will look back at this moment. You will either see it as the point where everything started to change, or as another opportunity that quietly slipped away. The difference between those two outcomes will depend entirely on the decisions you make right now. So choose growth, choose effort, and choose to begin today, because the future you imagine is built by the actions you take from this moment forward.